What's up, wonderful earthlings? Thank you very much for clicking this video. You are a wonderful soul, man. Respect to yourself. Good vibes. You see here, we are all about spreading love, peace, forgiveness, especially the importance of unity among humans across the whole world with all creations in it. We do this by reacting together to different types of videos. Well, you might wonder what type. Well, good vibes, woke, funny, creepy, even animal videos and etc videos, all with the intentions of spreading love to the whole world. Straight out of Africa with lots of good vibes. I mean, lots of good vibes. Kindly hit the like button. Tell us where you're watching from. Grab some snacks and watch till the end. Remember, it gets more interesting every bit. Let's dive in, man. Good vibes. Huh. Places on earth that don't feel real. Look at this. Huh. Some feather, I don't know, feather road. Oh, that is that it? Look at this. Looks like some magic water.
The
Oh
great Britney
my
Spears
god.
once said,
I
"My
see some of
loneliness
these
is
places.
killing me." It's a statement that finds resonance in modern scientific research. I'll tell you why. Research has found that loneliness is a mortality risk on par with smoking and obesity. It can increase your rate of cognitive decline and put you at risk for things like Alzheimer's disease or other forms of dementia. Loneliness can change the structure and function of your brain in ways that not only predispose you to things like depression and anxiety, but can also actually make it harder for you to socialize and make social connections. Now, an important point to make here is that your threshold for loneliness might be different to mine. One person might be able to spend 2 weeks by themselves before they feel lonely, whereas somebody else might feel lonely if they come home at the end of the day and there's nobody at home to greet them. There is a real distinction between solitude and loneliness. That being said, roughly 70 to 80% of people who are under the age of 40 report being lonely sometimes. So, threshold or not, it seems like it's a problem for most of us. How do you solve a problem like loneliness? It's tricky. One study asked for subjective ratings from participants on different interventions to assuage loneliness. And one example, they found that social groups like book clubs, football clubs, whatever, was both the most and least rated intervention. What does that tell us? It tells us that we have varied and multiple social needs. And to assuage loneliness, step one is really figuring out the missing link in your social fabric and finding an intervention to meet that need.
Huh. This gorilla couple had a fight, and the woman decided to give the man a piece of her bread as a sign of love. Oh my god. Love is great. Even in the world, it's good vibes, man, and you can see how beautiful love is. Look at this horse has known how to escape its environment where it is usually locked, and it has realized it is very clever, you see? And some mother cobra here loves to take a shower. Oh my god. Humans are full of good vibes. You see, like now washing a snake from this side of the world. Oh, someone could have run very far, you see, from the snake, but anyway, humans are interesting and good, full of good vibes. You see? Please, guys, spread love from wherever you are. Love animals, love people, love trees, love even the grass around you. See, you can walk even there on the road, give those stray animals something to eat at least. One day when you feel good, you see, and the good vibes will come to you. Look at this now. What is this? Looks like some big, gigantic statue here. Who made this stuff? Oh my god, this is creepy. Huh? Oh my god. Is that the pharaohs or those stuff? What is this? Good people of Earth, please leave some comment.
Hello. Hola, Carlos.
咋了嘛？找爸爸是不是了？你再转一圈，看他是不是躲到袋子后边去了？
Hola, Carlos.
那箱子有没有？箱子后面想想，后面的想想看有没有？看那椅子后边有没有？
Oh man, you see, children are full of good vibes, man. Just like animals and people that are willing to spread love. You see, good vibes is so nice, and love and see when you see these animals, they are just full of good vibes. You see, in everything they do, they just do it to have fun, not to harm one another. You see.
This tattoo has data in it. It's a recording of my grandfather's voice from the 1960s. But the coolest part is when I hold my phone over it, it plays the original recording of his voice. Check it out.
Hello, this is Bill Hughes from Grayson. All you have to do is put the ball in the clown's mouth as it goes from side to side. And those that get the biggest score get the pick of the prize.
Cool.
The more I looked around, the more I noticed all the other ways that the city treats everyone like animals. They put sharp stuff on the tops of these so that nobody sits on them. They put these little metal things on ledges so that skateboarders can't grind. And they recently started making the dividers on the subway benches even taller, so that it's even harder to lay down on them. Some people even designed very crude, homemade solutions to the human problem. This all seems to be a way to discourage undesirables from using our beloved public space. And when you look at all of it together, it's almost like the city is trying to tell you something.
Good people of Earth, let's unite as one and love one another, and care for your neighbors to do for yourself. You see, that way we can all unite as one and do great stuff. Look at this. You can't do flat earth without this. Let's look at. Oh my God, this looks like the eyesore, great eyesore, or something like that. What do you think this is? This is really creepy, man. You see this thing about the world being flat or spherical, it's really mind dazzling, and people would debate a lot about it. Share your thoughts on what you think. You see, oh, look at this, some good vibes family were chilling together, and the babies jealous when they see their parents spreading love again among one another. You see, they want all the love for themselves because these babies understand the importance of love. You see, when they are young and full of good vibes, when they are fresh to this world, and all they can know is love and good vibes. You see, and we should all be like that, full of love and good vibes. Care for your neighbors, you care for yourself, forgiving, peace, unity. You see, all that, and this world could be a happy place for everybody. You see, accommodating, and there will be no this chaos going on around and bad stuff, and we'll all be good people. You see, hit the like button there, good people of Earth. Even the super thanks if possible, leave some comments. And shout out to all those guys there in the comment section. With them justice on your back. What's wrong?
If humans are designed to be socially cooperative, why is there so much division in society? Let's talk about it. If you're new to my channel, I'm Rachel, the neuroscientist. There's three major lenses I want to look at this question through: evolution, neurobiology, and behaviour. Cumulatively, there's an evolutionary advantage to being fearful of outsiders. We evolved in close-knit groups where we would share resources and kind of protect ourselves from outside forces. This is still reflected in our behaviour in the modern age. We tend to have our in-group, whether defined by social, cultural, geographical, whatever lines. We have our people that we associate with and people we consider to be outsiders. We're much more likely to share resources with, give benefit of the doubt to, share compassion with people that we consider to be part of our in-group. The reverse is also true. We're more likely to be hostile to those that we consider to be out of our group. Now, for the neurobiology, we can learn a lot from animals. We're not the only social animals. There are also monkeys, rats. Studies of rats show they're also more likely to show compassion to rats of the same breed as them. They will rescue a trapped rat, even if it means foregoing delicious chocolate chips, as long as it's a rat of the same breed. If it's not of the same breed, it's much more likely to just eat those delicious chocolate chips. By examining the brains of these rats, when they see a trapped rat that's not the same breed as them, all the structures responsible for the experience of empathy are still active, but critically, the striatum and other parts of our reward system are only active when they see a rat of the same breed that's trapped. So empathy is ostensibly present, but the motivation or the desire to help is not. Why does it seem like we just spawn into existence at the age of 4 and we don't really have many memories before that? You're asking the right girl, because I'm Rachel, neuroscientist. Now, during the early stages of infancy, our brains are obviously still developing, but there are 2 key structures that are quite underdeveloped during those first few years, and that's the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus. You know the old adage, elephants never forget? Well, they have a very good memory, and this is attributed to the fact that they have huge hippocampi. The hippocampus is a very important structure for memory formation. Prefrontal cortex is also important for memory, but it kind of gives context to our memory. So to give you an example, other species that don't have quite as developed prefrontal cortices or hippocampi can form memories, of course, but they don't have the same kind of like episodic memories that we have. So my cat remembers that I'm yummy and lovely and safe and likes me, but he doesn't remember the first time that we met, you know. Memory formation during infancy is very similar to that. Babies can remember who is safe, what they like, what feels good, where treats can be found, but they don't necessarily remember those like events as like a movie the way that we do when we're older.
Oh, that's interesting, man. You see, in my whole life, I've never met a neuroscientist. You see, and I've realized they're full of good vibes. Leave some comment there if you know one or if you're one. You see, a group of guys here decided to explore some abandoned catacombs. With the help of a controlled robot. And thank goodness they didn't go there themselves. Why? Because it's like they found something really creepy inside the so-called catacombs. You see? Yeah, that the catacombs name is quite criminal itself, but I believe it means something like tunnels. You see, like we can see here. And let's see what these guys came across. Oh, thank God to this robot, man. You see, a robot cannot be scared and even stop recording. Because if it was a human said in that place and they come across creepy stuff, you see, they could have freaked out and stopped recording. What was that thing? Oh, look at this. Oh, looks like some bird. They are walking there with the. Is this some squirrel, some hedgehog, and you see the bird is motivating the squirrel or that animal to move across the road. Oh, this is good vibes. You see, these are animals that even live in completely different areas, different species, and they are sharing good vibes among each another. This is really motivating. That means we can also do it as humans. You see, despite the differences, they don't know in color, beliefs, and all that, in the long run, we are all humans. You see, and we should love one another for being humans, and care for one another, and be forgiving and honest to one another, and the good vibes will always come our way. Look at these animals, the way they look beautiful, just spreading good vibes together. You see. And the horse feeds these birds. This is good vibes, man. You see? And if these animals can even care for for themselves of despite being of different breeds, that means we can also do great in such areas. We can love one another and do incredible stuff. You see, much love to everybody, man. Oh, you're all loved and respected. If it's your first time here, feel much welcome, man.
By the
This is the
way,
Good
where are the
Vibes Para.
unicorns that are referred to in the Bible? Where are those, either in the fossil record or today? I'd like to see one of those. Another one of those interesting tests that continues to get failed.
Well, if you get an old 1828 Noah Webster's Dictionary, which is the very first edition dictionary that Webster came out with about 200 years ago, and if you look up the word unicorn, it says that unicorn is an animal with one horn, the monoceros. This name is often applied to the rhinoceros. Notice how this definition says absolutely nothing about a horse. It says nothing about a horse-like animal or a mythical animal or a fictitious creature. It says absolutely nothing about Greek mythology whatsoever, but rather it says that this is a name that is often applied to the rhinoceros. Wait a minute, what? The rhinoceros? You mean this is a unicorn? But the rhinoceros has two horns. How could this be a unicorn? Well, if you look up the word rhinoceros in the same dictionary, it says that rhinoceros is a genus of quadrupeds of two species, one of which, the unicorn, has a single horn growing almost erect from the nose. This animal when full grown is said to be 12 feet in length. There's another species with two horns, the bicornis. They are natives of Asia and of Africa. According to Noah Webster, back in the early 1800s, it was understood that there were two species of the rhinoceros. The one-horned species was called unicorn, and then the two-horned species was called bicornis. So basically, you get a 200-year-old Noah Webster's dictionary and look up the word unicorn, it says rhinoceros, then look up the word rhinoceros and it says unicorn. That was just 200 years ago. The Old King James was translated 400 years ago, in 1611. So if the definition of the word unicorn has changed in just the past 200 years from rhinoceros to horse, then it doesn't make much sense to take a modern definition of the word unicorn and apply it to a 400-year-old translation of the Bible. That's illogical. As a matter of fact, even today, the scientific name of the Asian one-horned rhinoceros is Rhinoceros unicornis, and Diceros bicornis is the scientific name of a two-horned rhinoceros. Well, where do you think those scientific names came from? I wonder. Well, they came from the Latin. Unicornis and bicornis are Latin words. Well, that's interesting, because in Psalm 92, verse 10, the psalmist is praying and says, "But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of an unicorn." If you look up this verse in the Latin Bible, the word that's being used here is the word unicornis. Unicornis is the same Latin word that's being used in the scientific name of the Asian one-horned rhinoceros. In Job 39, verse 9, God is speaking to Job and says, "Will the unicorn be willing to serve thee or abide by thy crib?" If you look up this verse in the Latin Bible, the word that's being used here is the word rhinoceros. Rhinoceros is the Latin word that's being used in this scripture verse. Interesting. Rhinoceros unicornis. Rhinoceros unicornis. As a matter of fact, in these 9 scripture verses, there's actually 5 different Latin words that are being used. Rhinoceros, rhinocerotis, rhinocerota, unicornium, and unicornis. These 5 Latin words are what's being used when the Old King James Version of the Bible says unicorn.
Oh, if that is by any means true, then I've seen one.
People are inside this rock and they have been trapped inside there for over 800 years. Even though they have been trapped for over 800 years, they still make sound from inside the rock and the villagers can hear it. The name of this rock is Ojimoba Rock. The villagers believe that invaders tried to invade their community and they were made to be trapped inside this rock for over 800 years. These people has been trapped inside this rock and they still make sound. They still do everything and the villagers can hear it. On this day, I traveled to this village to go and hear it for myself. I came close to the rock and I heard some sound. Wait. I'm hearing a sound. I'm hearing sound from inside this rock. Bring the camera closer. I even met a 100-year-old man who lived next to the rock and he told us about his encounter with the people who live inside this rock. You should check out the full video to find out what happened next.
Oh my God, is that true? Hiya.
I had a different kind of experience in the dream space the other night that I just want to tell you about, just so you'll know about it if you do these kinds of things like I do. I went in, as I do, to rescue a girl. She must have been 14 or 15 years old, maybe 16. She was locked in a cell in some building, I don't know where. So I did what I do. I got in her body. That's how I do some of the things that I do. I just go hop in, do things, and then get out. I got in the cell, got in her body, and I was about to take her out. And I turn around and there's a huge guard at the door to the cell. Very imposing looking fella. Scary. Broad shoulders. Built like a linebacker. And he had no heart at all. Nothing. He was just flesh. Meaning that he didn't have any conscience or spirit or anything like that. He was just running full flesh suit. That was it. And he was about to violate me, SA me. That was his intention. And he thought it was cute. So how this goes is it's all telepathic. Nobody's speaking. This is just all information passing through, floating around. They knew I was coming, and they were waiting for me. And they had him posted up, and they had figured out how to tell when I got into a body. When I showed up and that person took a back seat. They knew. They knew I was coming. So he's thinking, oh, I'm about to SA her, and it was in extremely violent ways. And I was thinking, oh God, I never feel fear. I never feel, not even normal day in human life or in the other worlds. I don't usually feel fear. For a split second, I felt fear, and I started looking around for who can help me. And at that time, these two guards, or these two people, walked past the cell, and one's wearing a suit, one's wearing slacks and a button-up shirt, and he looks official. His shirt's rolled up to his elbows, and he's younger, and I could hear him. I can hear his ego. Like, I can detect all of him. I couldn't see him that well, but I learned him. I scanned him real quick. He was super cocky, super egotistical, and he was, one of the higher ups. Anyway, I saw them walking past, and I looked at them with the thought that I'm going to ask them to help me. And they went like this. And they walked past with their finger like this. They sauntered. In other words, ain't nobody gonna know anything, and there is no help. No help is coming. And I've sat with that for a few days. It wasn't like I was devastated or traumatized when I woke up. It's like shit goes sideways in these things all the time. I mean, how many times I've definitely left my body many times and just go find another one. So it's not the end of the world. But how did they know I was coming? I have a very complex system of mirrors, and I have a very complex system where you can't find me. That's why I'm still alive. So something has been improved on their end. So just keep that in your mind.
Oh, that's very interesting, man.
The timeline for the activation of the 12-strand DNA in humanity is expected to occur rapidly in the very near future. This accelerated timeline represents an unprecedented leap in human evolution and consciousness. The Pleiadians have indicated that the activation will proceed in waves, with certain groups achieving activation earlier based on their spiritual awareness and openness to the process. Sensitives, intuitives, healers, and lightworkers are likely to be among the first groups to undergo spontaneous DNA upgrades. Children born within the next few years are also expected to display noticeable upgrades, as many will come into the world already coded for 12 strands. Their capabilities and talents will astound those around them. As more people achieve activation, they will trigger others around them to begin upgrading.
So this is one of the mini boats that looks like this at Lake Mead, completely out of the water, and I'm going to show you why. You see that white stain up there? The very top of that mountain, that's where the water used to be here at Lake Mead. Hundreds of feet of dropped water exposed all the boats that sunk 40, 50 years ago. A lot of you guys don't know the backstory on this stuff. We have new subscribers, new people that are tuning in. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and explain everything. I'm going to meet you up there at the top of Hemingway Harbor. Me, Junior, and Juju are going to explain how we got into this situation, and then we'll come back to explore these boats. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Guys, welcome back. A much requested video was another Lake Mead update. Heard that it dropped a little bit, so I'm going to give you a quick update. Right behind me, this sign right here shows where the water level was in the year 2000. And notice this massive drop of water since the year 2000. And every 100 to 200 yards or so, they have signs like this that show where the water was at within the last, 22 years. So that's why I'm here. We're going to show you a little bit of the stuff on the water, a couple boats that are exposed. We always have the fishing poles out while we're exploring. If we catch one, I'm a little bit on the hungry side. Probably going to do a catch and cook, fry one up on the boat real quick. Let's get into it. So where I was at was way over there. So right here I got Junior, the Sin City Outdoors host.
Yeah, it should be a good day out of the water. Beautiful day. It's probably like what, 60s? In the 60s right now?
60 degrees.
Beautiful weather though, bird blue skies. Heard the fishing's been good. From what I've heard, the water's gone down a little bit. So we're gonna go check it out, see for ourselves and see what's going on.
And right here we have Juju who's joining us.
What's up?
The panfish master, the fish taster, and everything else to do with fish.
Yeah, ready to catch some fish today, see what's popping.
If we fry one up, you gonna do the taste test?
Yeah, definitely. I always like doing the taste test. The best part.
All right, so a lot of people always ask, where's Juju? Why isn't he out here? He's always in school. He's working hard. He's trying to be a real estate agent. So when he does become a real estate agent, you guys check him out, buy a house after this market crash. And where this story gets interesting is the sign I'm about to show you. This is all the way down about 1,000 something yards. 2018, water was right here. Just keep going. There's another sign I want to show you. It's the last one they've actually posted before we get down to the water. 2021, dry as a bone. I'm going to show you how far the water is away from right here, and this is why this story is interesting and people are concerned about this. That's where the water is at now. I'd say about 300 yards. So since 2021 down to there, it's gone down a couple hundred yards. So we've been kind of monitoring this. The drop of the water has slowed down, so that's why we haven't really posted. That guy's in a hurry. Wow. So that's why we haven't posted too much. The water's kind of stable. As far as bodies go, as the water was dropping, they found about 6 bodies out here due to the water drop. Just exposing old bodies that were either dumped there years ago by the mob or, drownings, whatever. So they haven't found a body in a few weeks, so that's a good sign. All right, let's...
Oh no. That's interesting.
Okay, so this is a very interesting find. About a mile or two from Noah's Ark, there are the ancient ruins of what they know to be Noah's ancient home. And the reason they know this is because there's a marker outside of these ruins. It's a giant stone with an inscription of a rainbow. Underneath the rainbow is a ship with animals coming off of it. And then there are 8 carved crosses representing 8 people that came off of the ark. And this was taken from a site that was a dug-up grave at those ancient ruins of Noah's home.
Oh. Hey.
Some people believe this is real.
Wait, you mean that is not real? Aye, you good people of Earth? Huh. Ha! Aya. Huh. Oh. Looks like some people have been creative all along, you see, and it's good vibes, man. Ah. Oh, okay, that is interesting. Wait a minute, what is going on here? Oh, you mean this much of these magic tricks, they are just tricks and not really magic? Oh. Humans are extremely creative, man, you see? Ha, look at this. Oh, it's like some dogs saw some creature here and they are suppressed. Oh my god, what's this? Looks like some dog that's moving on a skateboard. What is going on there? Is that some true stuff or is a ghost? Good people of Earth.